So our first speaker is Njema Frazier, the Acting Assistant Deputy Administrator for Strategic Partnership Programs in the National Nuclear Security Administration's Office of Defense Programs. So that's NNSA for those of you who are going to be learning all the acronyms while you're here this week. Dr. Frazier's program assures that strategic interactions with other federal agencies, private industry, academia, and foreign entities are established, maintained, and conducted in the best interest of the NNSA and the nation. She joined the agency in 2001 and has since managed and led a number of NNSA's flagship scientific and technical programs, including serving as Director of Office of Experimental Sciences' $1.3 billion Weapons Science R&D program. A longtime science trailblazer, Dr. Frazier was the first African-American woman to graduate with a bachelor's degree in physics from Carnegie Mellon University, and the first to receive a PhD in theoretical nuclear physics from Michigan State University. Dr. Frazier is the co-founder of DOE Power, the Professional Opportunities for Women at Energy Realized, and is recognized champion of STEM and diversity, equity and inclusion, and accessibility in education and the workforce. She serves as the NNSA representative for the DOE Task Force on Equity R&D Working Group. So, Dr. Frazier?
Look how many people are here. Can you guys hear me okay? Perfect. So I'm so happy to be here. I'm going to do a few things. I have 15 minutes-ish. The first thing is to welcome you guys. It's so great to see everybody in person, all your bright, shining faces. The intelligence is wafting towards me in the front of the room, so it's fantastic. Tell you a little bit about our corner of DOE, that being the National Nuclear Security Administration. And then the third thing is to answer any questions you guys might have. So welcome to DC, welcome to the CSGF meeting. Thank you. It's a very hop-in place to be, as you probably saw already in your time here in DC. And we are an integral part of that. And by we, I mean everybody in this room. So please consider yourselves part of NNSA, part of the complex, part of what we need to maintain our excellence in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics when it comes to stockpile stewardship and the needs of the nation. So I'm very glad to have you here, and we'll dive in a little bit. So this is a little bit of our hierarchy, as it were. You guys are all familiar with the Secretary of Energy, hopefully. Her direct report is one of the undersecretaries for nuclear security. We also call her our NNSA administrator, and that's Jill Ruby. And she has a lot of experience within the complex, particularly at Sandia National Laboratories. She came on board pretty close to the beginning of the administration, her and Secretary Granholm both. So they've been with us for a couple of years now, and they're making some great strides within the agency. And so we're very happy to have them on board. Our most recent addition was Senate-confirmed Dr. Adams. He has experience in academia, which is useful, but also a lot of experience with the nuclear weapons complex and what we do in NNSA. So he is ramping up to speed. He came on board in April. And he is already really looking at things he wants to do to improve the complex, to include making sure that we have a robust pipeline of scientific talent in computational science and other fields. And then myself. So I'm a direct report to Dr. Adams within NNSA, and as you heard in the intro, I'm in charge of strategic partnership programs. So externally facing interfaces with industry, government, and academia, which is where you guys come in. All right, so this is a little bit of what I said. There are 5 undersecretaries. So just to give you an idea of where we are within DOE, this is our little corner of the world. So we have NNSA, and then under that, defense programs. And I reside within defense programs, and this is where we do all our funding for our centers of excellence, our fellowships, our grants, institutional support, access to facilities, where we can wedge that in. And I'll talk a little bit about our missions within NNSA. All right, so here you are, here's our mission. To protect the nation, our allies, and our partners, providing a resilient and responsive nuclear security enterprise. So you're gonna see nuclear security enterprise quite a bit, right? And that is just because it's a vast undertaking in areas that are pretty obvious, say the sites, the labs, the plants, and areas that are not as obvious, which is our ties to academia, our advancement of science in the interest of these areas, and then really making sure that innovation proceeds, technology develops, all of those things that we need for the enterprise. And down here, when you get a copy of these, this will be a hyperlink. This strategic plan actually came out May 2nd of this year, so it's fairly recent, and it's a really good reference to understand where NNSA is going and what it's doing. All right, so major missions within NNSA. So nuclear stockpile, global security and stability, naval nuclear propulsion, and then this one folks may not be as familiar with, and that is addressing emerging challenges. So this gets a little bit to what I was saying about the complexity and kind of the knock-on things that we need to make sure are healthy in order to solve the challenges of the day, right? We know that we're in a vastly different threat environment than we were maybe when NNSA was founded in 2000. We know we have different relationship with our allies, you know, and we have different needs to make sure that we are protecting ourselves and them. And so really just any emerging challenges. We know we have, say, supply chain challenges now. So just really being topical and having the wherewithal to address those challenges. And you can see some of the mission enablers under that, and you guys should see yourselves in all of those mission enablers, hopefully. So nuclear security enterprise, what is it? I think I mentioned this earlier, but this is kind of a map of where we are with respect to the labs that you guys are probably very familiar with, but also our plants and our other sites. So Nevada National Security Site is considered a site. Then we have our headquarters buildings, and then we have some of the bases, right? So we are focused on warheads when it comes to national security, but then our DOD partners are focused on the delivery vehicles. So as you can imagine, that's a very tight partnership, and you'll see them also in some of these sites that you see here. And within all of that, the buildings are the scientific talent, the innovation, the technology, and all of those other things. So it really, you know, extends 3D out of the page in terms of what we need for the enterprise. So I mentioned a few of these kind of strategic drivers, right? The first always is research, really making sure that we have the modeling, the simulation, the experiments that we need to advance the science and do the scientific research. So I've spoken here now. I also was in Santa Fe to talk to some of the other fellows because it's really critical right now that we are making strides both within the complex and bringing you guys in, but also outside of the complex and being peer reviewers and people who have new ideas, can think in innovative ways, can have new takes on what some of the traditional areas may be to solve the problems of the day. So research, innovation, I just touched on, training, really having access to some of these flagship facilities, having access to the laboratories, having access to the compute cycles and the advanced technology, all of those types of things. There's a specific training that comes with what you're doing right now that is very valuable, both to us and to other entities across the nation. The pipeline, obviously. Peer review, I mentioned that a little bit, but I think sometimes we focus on getting you guys in, and we would be thrilled if all of you found a home within NNSA, but we also need people who are going to have, be able to critique and be knowledgeable and be experts in their field, whether they go into academia, industry, nonprofit sector, right? The training and the experience and the education you guys are getting now can really benefit NNSA in a variety of different ways. And then inclusion. So I'll talk a little bit about the programs that we fund in NNSA, but really making sure that we are welcoming, inclusive, and valuing everybody that participates in our program and looking for others to expand that pool for the future needs we know we're going to have. So what does the map look like in terms of academic programs? So we have 6 major programs, one of which you're participating in right now. We also have the Stewardship Science Academic Alliances, Joint Program in High Energy Density Physics, HEDLP, we love our acronyms in DC. PSAP, Predictive Science Academic Alliance Program, CSGF, we have the Minority Serving Institution Partnership Programs, and the Tribal Education Partnership Programs. And you can see that we cover about 40 out of the 50 states in some way, shape, or form with these programs. And the size of this is about $100 million per year. We have 40 different states covered. We have 103 fellows. We have 44 grants, make sure I get this, 26 consortia, and then 18 centers of excellence. So that's kind of the numerology over here on the right. So there's a lot going on in each of these states at any different time. Some of these are 1 year, 3 year, 5 year opportunities and durations. So there's a lot to keep going in this academic engine. This is a little bit more about that breakdown. You heard about the 33 fellows for FY22, which is very exciting for us. You know, you guys are a big part of us maintaining our continuity through COVID and through different challenges that have come about in the last, 3 to 5 years. So we're very happy to have you here. Our other fellowship programs you can see here, LRGF and SSGF, which are within Stewardship Science Academic Alliances. Our Centers of Excellence, you can kind of see 9 on the PSAP side, 9 on the SSAA side, grants, which I mentioned earlier, and HEDLP. So it's quite the diversity of programming, durations, skills, majors. You know, you guys saw the 33 awardees as kind of a microcosm of the different areas of science that we are very interested in. And we really look to maintain this core program, even though we're a highly applied organization. Without you all, this won't work. So we definitely make sure that we have a robust kind of system of grants, centers, fellowships, to make sure that we can ensure that this is an enduring model for the nation. So to get it a little bit into the computational science piece of this, our efforts in high-performance computing, we have David Edom here, and we have other folks from NNSA who can tell you, and the folks from Krell as well, can tell you how important high-performance computing is to us, how important modeling and simulation is to us, and really the attention that it gets, both within NNSA and Department of Energy, but also outside in terms of congressional interest from OMB, all of those types of things. So we make sure that we have these key areas for HPC covered at all times. It has a very robust budget in order to be able to do that. And a lot of that has to do with, we're migrating codes, we're making sure that we can go from, go to direct numerical simulations, all of those types of things. I actually was in ASC for about 8 years when I first joined NNSA, and it's always done fantastic things since before even the establishment of NNSA, and that continues today. All right, so I won't go through all of these, but wanted to kind of drill down into what we're doing in the HPC area. All right, I feel like I had one more, but that's okay. So we did the welcome, and really glad to see you all here. Did what our little corner of NNSA does within the Department of Energy, and now on to item number 3, which is fielding some questions from you all, and I hope you have questions. So thank you very much.